Yeah, I'll share my screen. Let's get it started. All right, let's go. All right, so you guys know, always starting off with the TCB and TCPA compliant. We do not want anybody getting their hands tapped for, calling people on the do not call list. Please don't do that. Save yourself, save yourself from that. When you guys get the list, I was just on a coaching call this morning. Um, so you guys, I'm in coaching at least 3 to 4 times a week, just so you guys know. I put my money where my mouth is. I drink my own Kool-Aid, if you will. So I tell you guys, you need accountability in coaching.
Yeah.
I believe the same for myself. Okay.
Nice.
So I pay a lot of money for my coaching program. And so I'm in that coaching program and I'm coached at least we do skin in the game at 7:45 in the morning. I have to tell them what my intent is for the day and what my win is for the previous day. And I think I've shared this with you guys before. So, um, and so we go through that ritual every single day, and we go through coaching every single day. So we were just talking about the whole. You guys are getting these lists from title. Just our lists are scrubbed by if you're getting your list. But just make sure that you are adhering to that do not call list. Do not if they have a X across the name or a D, that means do not call. Okay. If you have any questions about it, ask before you start calling. Don't just start calling and then ask. Ask before you call, okay? Because people are looking to sue. That's just the bottom line, okay? All right. So let's go into LA County and look at our trends in LA County. Our internet is down, you guys, here in the office. We've already called. They're on their way here now. Our tech guy's on his way here now to help us. But our internet is down. So if things lag, somebody let me know that I'm lagging. I'm on my hotspot. Okay. So hopefully it will serve us well over the next 30 minutes. Okay.
So
So
far, so good.
okay, awesome. Thank you.
Hmm.
So, today's stats we're looking at, we are for sale properties that are actually on the market, are up 7.2% over last month, the first 15 days. So we're halfway through the month, right? So the first 15 days through the month, we're up 7.2%. And we're up overall 48.4%, which is great. So LA County is seeing some great inventory increases, almost 50%. So that's excellent. This first 3 months of the year over last month. I mean over last year. And then sold properties are up 11.1% over last month. Again, first 15 days of the month as compared. And then down only 0.1% as compared to last year. Okay. So keep that in mind. I gotta mute some folks, sorry. Keep that in mind that it's only down 0.1%. So it's not far behind in LA County, right? We're gonna make this up. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be making this up as a year over year comparison. Pendants are up 6.2% as compared to last month and up 1.9% over last year. Okay, so 2 out of the 3 major sales trends in Los Angeles County are actually increasing, which is a good sign for the sold category. So if we have more inventory, we have more pendants, it is reasonable to think that we would have more sold properties at the end of the day. Okay. All right. So, and these, what this is telling you guys is this, there's more opportunity for you, right? There's more opportunity for you. There's more inventory out there that's coming on the market. That means there's more listings coming on the market. That means you have the opportunity to go get more listings. Um, you have the opportunity to go get more buyers to go buy those listings, right? More sellers are coming on the market. So that means you guys can go out and get those listings. Okay. Um, New listing inventory is down 3.5% over last month and up 16% over last year. Okay, so we have more new listings coming on the market or have come on the market as compared to last year to the tune of 16%. That is great. We need more new listing inventory. Pendants are up 6.2% over last month and up 1.9. Oh, I'm sorry, we already went over pivots. So new listings. All right. Average active price is up 1.1%. So in LA County, sellers are asking 1.1% higher than they did last month. They're asking 9.3% less than they did last year. Okay, average active price. However, they are receiving 12% higher than they did last year. That is double-digit increases. Okay, so keep that in mind. These are double-digit increases. That means that for your buyers, yes, affordability in LA County being 12% higher than it was last year already, that is, that's where buyers start talking about affordability issues, right? Because we're in double digit growth. Who knows what normal appreciation is year over year in a normal market? What's that number or range? Come off mute and tell me.
What was the question?
5 to 7.
What is normal appreciation? What's the normal range of appreciation year over year?
I'm
What's
thinking
the normal range?
3%.
6%.
You guys are kind of it's between 4 to 6%.
Mm.
That's normal. Okay. I think the average over the last like 30 years is 4%. Okay. Or I should say the historical average is 4%. Right? 4%. So when you look at that and you look at 12%, that means LA County is 3 times the average, right? So when people are saying, "Oh, it's too high," well, in LA County, in some areas in LA County, yeah, they're seeing these, double-digit amounts of appreciation. It can be an issue. This is where creativity with your lender, and even looking in different areas with your buyer is going to be super useful. Okay. Months of inventory, we are down 10.7% over last month. We were at 3.7 months of inventory last month. We're at 3.3 months of inventory currently. Overall, we are up 46.3%. We were at 2.4 months of inventory last year. We're at 3.5 months of inventory. That's really great, right? And as the months of inventory increase, right? As they continue to go up and we get more into that normal market, what's going to happen to this average sold price? Do you guys imagine? What should happen? Come on, you guys.
It should drop.
Thank you. Who said that? Yvette?
Yes.
Thank you, Yvette. My newbies coming to the table. Good girl. So yes, it should drop, right? Because more inventory it lessens the competition or improves the competition, right? There's more competition. So that means buyers have more choices. That means sellers have no choice but to lower their prices so that they can become more competitive among the other competition, among the other sellers, right? Which means a better situation for buyers. Okay. So hopefully this will go down in terms of the year over year comparison. They'll get a little bit closer to, single digits and come down a little bit so that year over year, there's not this huge gap in appreciation, right? Well, it's great for sellers. So if you are a listing agent and you're on the seller's end, the listing agent, so you're going to be great. You're going to be telling the seller, hey, as compared to last year, you're getting 12% higher than you would have gotten last year. So great job, Mr. Seller, for waiting. Let's go ahead and put your house on the market so we can take advantage of this hot market, right? Now, you can only say that if you've done your numbers for your local market and you know that that is the case, right? You don't want to say that if you haven't drilled in to that neighborhood and you know exactly what the year over year comparison is in that neighborhood, right? That's super important. All right. Average days on market is down 15.6% over last month. We were at 45 days on market last month. We're at 38 days on market currently. It's up 16.7% overall. Last year, we were at 36 days on market. Now we're at 42 days on market. And it makes sense, right? If we've got higher inventory levels, we should have more days on market, right? If we've got higher inventory levels, we should have more days on market. Why? Because there's more inventory to choose from a buyer's perspective, right? So they take a little bit longer. The homes take a little bit longer to sell because buyers have not a lot, because it's really not a lot, but they have more choices, okay? All right, sold versus original list price is up 2.1%. We were at 97% of list price last month. We're at 99% of list price this month. What does that mean? Sellers are receiving 99% of their list price currently in March, okay? They're super happy. They're getting freaking 100%, right? So they're super happy. There is no change. There's no change in a year-over-year comparison. So last year, they were getting 97% of list price. Currently, sellers are receiving 97% of list price on average. Okay, so that just means what they put their house on the market for is what it's selling. 97% of that is what it's selling for, right? That's all that means. And from a seller's perspective, do they want to know this information? Of course they do, right? They want to know what the market is doing and what they can expect. This information, and again, you're at the macro level. You want to get to the micro level when you're talking with the seller, because the reality is they want to know what this is for their neighborhood and this is how you set their expectations. Okay, this is how you set their expectations. How long they're going to be on the market. Well, what's the average days on market in their neighborhood, right? So that's what we can anticipate. Okay, how much are our sellers receiving? Well, they're receiving, if this was the data, 97% of their list price but you got to be looking at their home, right, in their neighborhood. So it's not just their neighborhood, but it's also their price point. Because do condos and townhomes sell at a different rate than single family residences?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Do 2-bedroom homes sell at a different rate than 3-bedroom homes?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Absolutely. So you see how we have to be super granular in our information, because things like that matter. A 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom is going to sell completely different than a 3-2. Right?
Yes.
They're going to be in 2 different price points. They're going to be to 2 different types of buyers, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to keep that stuff in mind when we are thinking about, our marketing, when we're thinking about talking to our sellers and setting their expectations, when we're thinking about the data. Drill it down. Be hyper local, and not only be hyper local, but you gotta focus on your type of home as well. Make sure that you're comparing apples to apples, is what I say. All right. Orange County. Orange County for sale is up 12.6% over last month, and then up 70.7% over last year. They are kicking butt and calling names. Everybody came on the market, right? So it's up 70.7%. Now, that's a huge number. But I think I've shared with you time and time again, Orange County has been severely impacted by low inventory. Especially last year, it was horrible. And so this, although it's a huge number, is needed. And it doesn't even get us to a normal market. And you guys will see that. It's just getting us out of having zero zilch inventory. Okay. So sold properties are up 7.7% over last month. However, they are down overall 0.6% over last year. So remember, LA County is the same. LA County was like 0.1%. Orange County is 0.6%. So it's not even 1%. Okay. So it's not even a 1% difference over last year. However, it is down. And so we're going to keep watching that trend, because we want to see that go into the green, which means that we are selling more than we did last year. All right, pendants are up 17% over last year, and up 1.9% up 17% over last month, and up 1.9% over last year. So we've got more properties going into escrow, to the tune of 1.9% over last year. Okay. New listings are down 19.9% over last month. However, holding strong, increasing 8.5% over last year. Okay, so yeah, new listing inventory come on the market to the tune of 8.5% over last year. And then in Orange County, the average active price is down 1.6% over last month and down 9.6% over last year. Okay, so sellers are asking 9.6% less than they did last year. Okay. However, look at this. They're receiving 8.3% higher than they did last year, which is actually even less than LA County. So Orange County is receiving even less than over year-over-year comparison over LA County. Okay. But it has improved 8.3% over last year. So again, sellers are happy. They're seeing more appreciation than they did last year. Now, months of inventory is decreased 4.2% over last month. We were at 2.4 months of inventory last month. We're at 2.3 months of inventory currently. Look at this, you guys, a 72.6% improvement, if you will, over last year. We were at 1.4 months of inventory last year. We're at 2.4 months of inventory currently. Okay, so you see how, even though you see that big bump up in inventory, right? You saw that big bump. It was like 70% more inventory on the market this year. It still only puts us at 2.4 months of inventory. So we're still in a severe seller's market in Orange County. Okay. Most areas are going to be in a severe seller's market in Orange County. Orange County is pretty big as well. So be sure to be hyper local and do your research so you'll know, if you are in fact in that seller's market, or if maybe there's more inventory in the specific pocket you're selling in. All right, average days on market is down 16.2% over last month. We were at 37 days on market last month. We're at 31 days on market currently. And we are up 24.1% over last year. So we were at 29 days on market last year. We're at 36 days on market this year, right? More inventory, longer days on market. These two numbers should directly correlate, right? Sold versus original list price, no change over last month. The sellers are receiving 97% of list price last month. They're receiving 97% of list price currently. 1% difference of decrease over last year. Sellers were receiving 98% of their list price last year, receiving 97% of list price currently. Tell me, what is a condition that would cause this in a market where we are still starved for inventory in Orange County? Why would we be seeing sellers selling for 97% of their list price versus 100% of their list price? What do you think? What's one condition? And then we'll move on.
Urgency to sell.
Oh, actually, yeah, urgency to sell. That's true. I said one condition. There's a lot, but I'm looking for one, I should say.
Oh.
But that's absolutely,
listing.
there's urgency to sell. What else?
They're listing too
Why-
high.
Who said that? Amanda? That sounds like Amanda.
Yeah,
Ding, ding, ding. That's absolutely correct. They're listing too high, right? Now why are they listing too high? Amanda?
because it's a seller's market, so they think they can get away with selling too high.
Get it, girl. That's right. That's it. It's a seller's market. They're like, well, if you haven't had this happen, then you have heard of it happening. Well, where a seller will say, I just want to try it at this price, right? I just want to see what'll happen if we list it in the 800,000. If we list it at like 850, let's just see. Right? Or if we list it at like 830, let's just see. Now, if it doesn't happen, we could drop it. Well, that's what happens. Sellers shoot for the stars. And they end up selling it for less because they knew in their mind they would accept less anyway. They were just trying it. And then you start to see things like this. Okay. Selling for 97, 98%. Okay. Because if it's priced competitively, they will get more than likely 100% of their list price if it's priced competitively. Okay.
And Brandy, does that mean when they price it competitively and they receive more, that's that number when it says, oh, they receive more than what they're asking for, essentially? Is that where that number comes
Absolutely.
from?
That's exactly. Yep. That's exactly what it means. So they would maybe receive 101 or 102% of their list price.
Got it. Thank
Is
you.
that okay? You're welcome. All right. So let's head over to Riverside County. Last two counties of the day. For sale properties are up 3.6% over last month. And up 48.7% over last year. Okay, so there is definitely more inventory across the board in all three counties, right? Sold properties are up 5.2% over last month. However, they are down 4.9% over last year. Okay, so this is an even bigger decrease than we've seen in both the other counties, right? But I actually expect that as you go out, right? You expect more of a variance as you go out. All right, pendants are up 25.7% over last month and up 6% over last year. So, you know, looking at these two numbers, for sale and pendants, we're hoping that that will roll into closings, solds, right? And that will increase that number. New listing inventory is down 10.5% over last month. However, it is up 9.2% over last year. So again, new listing inventory is rising in all of the counties, which is great. Average active price is up 0.6% over last month and down 3.6% over last year. So again, every county is down in what they're asking for. However, all of them have increased on what they're receiving, what they're selling for. So Riverside County, no different, up 2.1% as compared to last year. So this is very very nominal change, right? Very, very small amount of change of appreciation. However, it is still in the green. It is still an improvement over last year to the tune of 2.1%, which is why you see more people flocking out to Riverside and San Bernardino counties, because typically they are selling their sold prices haven't gone up as much as LA and Orange County, right? And just even baseline, their prices aren't as high as Orange and LA County, right? All right. So months of inventory, 16.7% decrease over last month. We were at 5.4 months of inventory. Last month, currently we're at 4.5 months of inventory. Okay. 57.3% increase overall as compared to last year. Last year, we were at 2.6 months of inventory. Currently, we are bumping that threshold to a normal market at 4.1 months of inventory. So that is great. We are seeing that we are at the knocking at the door of a normal market in Riverside County. Okay. Which is why you see these normal amounts of appreciation, 2.1, percent appreciation as compared to last year. Only asking 3.6, asking 3.6 lower, right? Because you're seeing more inventory, more competition, longer days on market, right? It all is telling the story, right? When you get more inventory and you go into a normal market, what happens? This is why us as seasoned agents who've been here for a minute, we get into this. We don't have to, a lot of us get into this rhythm with our clients because things sell so fast. Shoot, we don't have to keep in touch because we're in and out, right? You're on the market, you're getting offers, you accept an offer, you're in escrow, right? Yes, you're keeping in touch at all those touch points. But what happens when you put it on the market, you're marketing it, and nothing happens, or you get one or two showings, you do an open house, you don't get any offers for weeks and weeks, right? You still have to communicate every single week, right? Just like you were in that fast market, you should be communicating still with your clients. Number one complaint of buyers and sellers is the lack of communication from their agent. Okay. We want to just break through that, and make sure that our clients feel super special, communicated with all the time, even overly done. And then that's how you create that raving fan. They will tell everybody about you. Okay. All right. Average days on market down 3.7% over last month. We were at 54 days on market. Currently, we're at 52 days on market. Overall, a 15.6% increase. We were at 45 days on market last year. We're at 52 days on market currently. And also, because I have some newbies on right now, I always tell you guys, do not be confused by this. Don't be fooled, I should say, by this. Okay. You look at this 52 days on market and you think, oh, I got a long time to go show my client's property out there. No, you don't. If it's a good property, it will go in a weekend. All right. I promise you it will. So don't wait. You have to have a sense of urgency when you're showing your client's property. And even if it's been out there for a while, I can't tell you how many times, and Shelly can probably attest to this as well. I can't tell you how many times a property been on the market for 25 days, but the moment my client wants to go see it, all of a sudden they got an offer. Okay. Or the moment we want to put in an offer, oh, I got 2 offers over the weekend. I'm like, oh my God, how did that happen? Why? What
It happens all the time. Whether or not they are telling the truth, that's what they say.
Right. That's what they say. So the reality is that you still got to get out there and have urgency. Okay. When your client wants to see a property, no matter what this days on market says. All right.
Brandy, really quickly, can I ask
Sure.
you, when the home has been on the market for X amount of days, would that be a time where, like, your client, maybe you could ask for a little less than what they're asking for since it's been on the market so long? Is that something that you would maybe evaluate, or do you just still just kind of try to give them what they're asking for?
Somebody answer that for Danila, please.
It doesn't seem yes. Always.
It depends, not always.
Tell them why,
What does
Shelly.
it depend on?
I mean, under 30 days, I would say don't try to lowball them. I would look at the comparables first, have a conversation with the listing agent. If it's priced right, and maybe it's just far or the area, I don't know. I mean, you have to have a conversation with the listing agent, look at the comparables. Maybe you go in at asking and ask for some concessions, but definitely don't start lowballing them in the beginning. I mean, there's a lot of different variables, but it's not a for sure yes all the time.
What's considered lowballing, by the way? I know, like, something substantially less, right? Like, if it's $1,000 less, I don't know if that's a big deal for your client or not, but is that still considered competitive, or is that's
$1,000 is I mean, I would never try to like lowball someone 1,000. That won't even make a difference.
right?
But,
So
I mean,
yeah,
you have to
what's the number that's
consider
lowballing?
Yeah,
if you're
$1,000 is
asking,
not lowballing.
and also if you're asking for the seller to pay for your commission, I would suggest not lowballing right away. It just depends. I mean, how long has a property been on the market? Is it already overpriced? If it's not overpriced, I mean, there's different variables that you have to take into consideration, right, Brandy?
I would definitely agree with Shelly. Danila, lowballing is typically offering like 50,000 less, right? 40,000 less could be lowballing, but it depends if it's less than a competitively priced property or not. Like Shelly said, if the property is overpriced and you want to offer 50,000 less because that's what the comparables say, then that to me is not lowballing. To them, it's going to be lowballing, but to me, it's not, because and I'm going to show them why. But in terms of your original question, I feel like Shelly was absolutely right. If the property is sitting out there less than 30 days, you need to do a little bit more due diligence. And in either case, you want to talk to the agent to find out what's the expectation of the seller, right? And if it's been out there for 60 days and they have not reduced the property, then I really want to have a conversation with the listing agent, because I want to find out, have you spoken with them about reducing the price? Because typically if a property's been out there 60 days and they haven't reduced it, it's because the seller has drawn a line in the sand and said, nope, I want to get this price, right? Normally if it's been out there 60 days and you've seen a couple of reductions, then you need to be looking at, oh, when was the last reduction? If it was just a week ago, then the seller already just corrected. Now, like Shelly said, run your comps and see if that correction put them in the range of what they should be listed at, right? And then in that case, because they already reduced, you may be making an asking offer, right? Because they've already reduced. But if they're still high, then you always want to go in, especially if there's no offers, right? If you don't have any competition, go in a little bit lower, and then you're going to say why you're lower. You've got to have data to back yourself up, right?
Yes.
Because that's what they'll want to see. They just don't want you coming in lower just because you feel like you could take advantage. No, I'm coming in lower because the comps in your area suggest that properties like yours are selling for $20,000 lower than what you're listed at. Does that make sense, Danila?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. And then also take into consideration, we are asking for our commission, but I don't look at our commission as on top. I think sellers, even if they are not being advised properly about the commissions, I look at it as I'm still going to make what's a fair offer for my client, and I'm going to ask for my commission because that's just the cost of selling as far as I'm concerned. But they may see it differently, and that's where that conversation has to come into place with the listing agent. All right. That was good dialogue. Thank you guys. Thank you, Danila, for that question. That's really great.
No problem. Thank you guys for answering that for me.
Absolutely. So where are we at? Okay, days on market, sold versus original list price. So sold versus original list price, no change over last month, 96% of list price. Sellers are getting 96% of their list price. There's a 1% change over last year. They're receiving, last year we were receiving 97%, this year 96%, right? More inventory, okay? All right, San Bernardino County, for sale properties. We've got 4.7% increase over last month, 45.4% increase over last year. So definitely, again, across the board, more inventory. Solds went up 9.1% over last month. However, they've gone down 7.4% over last year. And then pendants have gone up 3.4% over last month. However, 2.5% decrease over last year. So San Bernardino County is the only county that we're seeing 2 out of the 3 sales trends being in the red, meaning decreasing over last year, right? So we're not in our high sales month just yet. April, May, June, high sales months. And so we will starting to see some rebounding. In March as well, we'll start to see some rebounding, right? And so we hope that we'll see these 2 numbers start to rise. We've got some more inventory to support the market now. We want to see the pendants, the in escrows, and the solds actually start to go up. Okay, new listing inventory is down 10.5% over last month and 9.1% increase over last year. Average active price is up 0.2% over last month. However, down 1.4% over last year. So the sellers in San Bernardino County are asking 1.4% less, but they are receiving 7.9% more than they did last year. Okay, so keep that in mind. They're receiving 7.9% more than they did last year. Even higher than Riverside County. All right. Months of inventory is down 11.9% over last month. Last month we have 5 months of inventory. Currently we have 4.4 months of inventory. Last year, we had 2.7 months of inventory. Currently we have 4.2 months of inventory. So just like Riverside County, we are knocking at the door of a normal market. Okay, that's a 55.5% increase over last year. Average days on market has gone down 1.9% over last month. I mean, it went down a day, you guys. Look, 52 days last month, 51 days currently, so that's nothing. Overall, we are up 16.3%. We were at 43 days on market last month. We're at 50 days on market currently. Sold versus original list price is down 4.1%. Last month, we were at 97% of list price. Currently, first 15 days of the month, we're at 93% of list price. Overall, a 2% decrease. Sellers were receiving 98% of their list price, and currently they're receiving 96% of their list price. So only a 2% decrease. You know, it is, you know, it is small, but to sellers, 2% is a big deal, right? So that's where being hyper local, us looking at our numbers, we've got to be able to look at this and tell our sellers what to expect. And we base what to expect on how they're pricing their property. If they're pricing their property really competitively, then they're going to have a higher sold to original list price percentage, right? If they're being really competitive. If they're fishing and testing the market, then yes, it is going to be a difference, right? They might get 95% or 96% of their list price if they're fishing. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to everybody.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Upcoming events. That's it for the stats. That's it for the sales trends. Any questions about it before I move on? We good? All right. Upcoming events. You guys, we got a packed week this week. I'm excited about this week because we have got some good stuff this week. We have got, obviously, the market update. We've got group coaching at 12. We have got 5:30. Eileen is going to be talking about websites, which is great. We've got tomorrow, we've got 9 a.m. We've got conversations in real play. We've got 2 p.m. our team meeting, and we're featuring Jennifer Avalon, who went to family reunion, and she is going to be talking about her. And I'm trying. Is she on? Adriana? Is Adriana still on?
Because as human beings, we want to.
I don't think she's still on. Trying to get Adriana as well to go a little bit deeper into some of the best ideas from family reunion. But I know Jennifer will be there. And then at the next day, we've got broker hour with Ed. Okay. We got broker hour with Ed. Ignite at Night is still going on the Tuesday. So if you guys have not registered, you can register using the West Coast right here, the West Coast QR code. It is 6:30 Pacific. You guys can register for that and just keep taking it. Okay. Let me go back because I don't want to miss anything. On Wednesday, on Wednesday, we've got broker hour, Wednesday, Thursdays with Ed. He's going to be talking, I'm sorry, this Wednesday, he's not doing class. He's got a live in class in KWHB, but Thursday he will be here, or he will be on Zoom talking about the counter offer, the seller counter offer, the buyer counter offer, and the seller multiple counter offer. That's all those acronyms mean. Okay. So definitely chime into that because that's your process. That's when you submit an RPA, 99% of the time you're going to get a counter. Even if it's a small counter, people still feel like they need to state who title is, who escrow is, even if you said in your offer seller to choose. Okay. So just make sure that you guys are on here. This is good information. I'm sorry, 19th, you got tech training with Martha at 12:30. And then we have got, 12:30 is new agent tech training. So Yvette, Danila, who else do I have on here? Marina, any of my new agents who are still getting set up on the tech. This is a perfect class for you guys to sit in with her and make sure that you're getting things set up. Okay. That's at 12:30, and then her regular class starts at 1. So you guys be prompt, be on time for the 12:30 class because she's going to be there start so she can help you guys to get set up or at least get you guys on the right track. And then you guys are going to roll right into the 1 o'clock class. And then, like I mentioned, Ed's class, and then Our flagship class of the week is Fred said you guys do not want to miss this class. The blueprint to 5X your business. You do have to RSVP. Lunch is being provided. And you do have to RSVP. So make sure you check in your emails. It's been sent out a zillion times. Make sure that you guys are registered. This is going to be a phenomenal class. Fred said sells over 250 units a year, you guys. So if you want to get to that point, even if you want a fraction of that business, you should be here. Okay. It is not going to be on Zoom. We are not Zooming it. You've got to be here. We will record it, but it will not be on Zoom. Okay. Then at 2:00, Victor's going to be doing his Dial for Dollars class. You guys, again, in St. Patrick's Day, isn't it today St. Patrick's Day? Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. This is like a pot of gold, okay? A pot of gold right here. So make sure that you guys are attending, okay? And then we've got regional tech training. And then on Friday, we've got coffee with a capper with our own Tiffany and Clarissa, and they are going to be sharing. They got some great ideas and things that they want to share from family reunion as well. This is kind of like the best of the best from family reunion, you guys, because you weren't able to be there. So this is you learning all of the things that the agents were able to take away from family reunion. And there were over 250 breakout sessions. So there's a lot there, a lot of great info there. Okay. All right. All right, so here we go.
Andy, I have a question
Yes, Connie.
for you. With my problem in connecting with Command, I was going to see you on Friday. I couldn't make it. Should I see you sometime this week, or should I just wait with Martha Calderon at 1?
No, we should probably connect before then, because I don't think Martha can help. I think that's something that we have to work with you on.
Are you available this afternoon or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I got
Tomorrow.
jam-packed day with meetings today, but tomorrow definitely.
Tomorrow afternoon be good?
Let me check let's just hang on after this meeting so then we can check my schedule.
All right, because I do have a doctor's appointment in the morning, so I'll be free in the afternoon.
Okay. We'll check my
Thank
schedule
you.
after this. All righty.
Okay.
So this
Thank
is
you.
You're welcome, my dear. This is Blueprint to 5X your business. You guys see right here that what Fred said. Go ahead and get this QR code. Get the QR code. It's also on the hub. But get the QR code so that you guys can RSVP and save your seat. 11 o'clock, March 20th. All right. So he's going to be talking about proven systems and strategies, tech tools, and the daily schedule that drives massive results. All right. Make sure you're listening to your MREA podcast. #1 podcast for real estate, you guys, is amazing. So make sure you're listening to that. Your One Thing podcast. There's quite a few. Okay. And then industry news. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. Industry news. So NAR CEO talks about the housing with top lawmakers. So basically NAR was in Washington, and they are talking, they're saying that housing and affordability is one of the most talked about bipartisan issues, right? That everybody is concerned with affordability, with inventory, with the housing market. The housing market is very essential to the overall economy. So of course it is going to be a hot topic in Washington. And again, it is one of those topics that goes both ways, right? Doesn't matter who you are, Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. It needs to be addressed because it's a concern for both. And so what they're talking about is that they had a reception I think it was last week. And they are working on policy changes. They're working on implementing, and when they say policy changes, they're talking about policy changes as it results in being easier for builders to build, right? Offering certain type of incentives, things like that, offering what can they do to help first time home buyers or seniors who need to retire and need to downsize. Like they're talking about all of these things that are concerns. So I mean, no resolutions were talked about, but this article is talking about all the different issues that they're talking about in terms of the housing market, and just letting us know as real estate agents that this is a bipartisan issue that is being discussed, and that we should be hearing, what do you call it? We should be hearing updates very soon. All right, so I'm gonna stop my share. Anything that you guys, any questions before we get on out of here?
Thank you. None for me.
All righty.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. You're welcome, Yvette. Thank you. Thank you, Denise. Thank you guys so much for being on. You guys
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful week. You're welcome. I hope to see you guys here in-house. Today at group coaching, like we've got a jam-packed Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. So just make sure, especially my new agents, you guys absorb all this. You're a sponge. Absorb all this, okay? All right. Have a good weekend, guys.
See you in
You're
a bit.
welcome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Cindy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Connie, let me look at my schedule here.
Thank you. I'm looking at my calendar too.
All righty.
There is a training at the board on Wednesday that I'd like to meet, and I should be free tomorrow after 1.
After 1, okay, let me see.
I think that.
Yeah. We have our team meeting tomorrow, Connie.
Okay, should I meet
At
you after
2.
your team meeting? Or
Yeah,
before?
why don't we look at that? So tell me again, what is the issue?
I'm not connecting with command completely for some reason.
But you are connecting to command. This is an email
According
issue.
to right, probably between the emails. Because I don't show
Yeah.
everything, and I can't connect to Facebook either. I do
Okay,
have the hub. It does come through.
you do have the who?
The hub, is that what you call it? I
Yeah.
do get the emails from Keller Williams.
Well, the emails are not have nothing to do with Facebook though. So the
Okay.
emails and Facebook are two totally different things. So you're getting the emails, that's great. But you aren't, it sounds like, you see something. Let me look up something real quick, Connie. No, I looked this up last week. I just want to do it
I
again.
know you looked at the email. I have it here.
Yeah, your email was something different than Connie. It was Connie, first of all.
Connie Martinez at KW.
Yeah. So getting into your email, but you can't get into your email. And your
Not
email
the
is,
KW. And my
yeah.
understanding is that I will use my regular email and then somehow connect with the KW.
Well, Yeah, you should be able to use your regular email. No, you don't. No, you don't. What happens is that if you need to recover, meaning if you lost your password to Connie Martinez at kw.com, what would happen is that when you say forgot my password, then it would email you a recovery to your other email, which is Connie Downey Realtor at gmail.com.
Okay.
Okay.
So to look at my KW email, do I go into command before I look at it? Or?
No, your email has nothing to do with command. To get to
Okay.
your email, you go to Gmail, Google Gmail.
Okay, let's see.
And I think we tried it and it said that to ask you for your password, I guess.
Okay, something I don't recall too well.
Okay.
I probably let me sign out of my regular email. Okay. So it must be something with my own admin account. Okay.
Yeah,
It is Connie Martinez at KW, right?
yes. That's what I believe it was. When we looked, where do we find that though? Where do we find that out at? We looked it up and it looked like it was Connie Martinez, but I don't see when you log. Oh, we looked at your command. That's what we
Right.
were looking at. We looked in command. That's where we saw Connie Martinez at kw.com. So I will I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk with our tech person. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send him a message right now to
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking at it and trying to retrieve my password. It's not accepted and it's not giving me. But right now it says I need to let me confirm my recovery email here. That must have been I never logged into my KW account. And that's because Google is trying to recognize me.
yeah.
I'm sorry, let me erase some of this stuff here. Okay, let me see if it works here. It's asking me for a new password.
Where are you at? Are you in Gmail though?
I'm in Gmail and I have to change it from my other Gmail. So it's asking me to verify myself.
Okay.
Resend activity, continue to Gmail. It's between Chrome and
I think, Connie, I would need you to have your computer here.
right. I see it because it's just going back and forth between Google and my regular email.
Yeah.
So it's not letting me into the KW.
Yeah. So if you could
Okay.
just bring it tomorrow. I'm gonna send a ticket to, I'm gonna send a ticket over to, our folk, and then let's see what they say. And I'm gonna CC you on it to
Okay.
to your other email.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll talk to you later, honey.
Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.